Ohayou gozaimasu, minasan! So today I'm gonna present you my project entitled Japanese Braille for All. I have the idea of this project when I was learning Japanese, so now let's see what it's about. So yes, Braille isn't an universal language. You can find Braille in different fields as mathematics, literature, music, informatics, and depending of which referential you are, the same symbol could mean several things, and believe me, Japanese Braille and French Braille are very different. And due to those differences, if you want to learn Japanese Braille nowadays, you will face several problems. First, the documentation is pretty rare and not very accessible for those who need it in terms of disability, like a lot of array, a lot of Japanese symbol, and since the array are not readable by a screen reader, and the Japanese symbol are not taken charge by the Braille computer, I cannot read it, so it was very painful for me to learn information and to try to learn Japanese Braille. So to solve this lack of information and documentation, I wanted to build myself a documentation that was very accessible for those who need it, and also since I was very interested in this subject, I wanted to go further from my original project and I wanted to build a transcription software and also try to work with a robot to make them take in charge of Japanese Braille. So the first step was to build this accessible documentation, and to do so I had to compile and synthesize all the data that I found on Japanese Braille, the spelling rules, the symbols, the equivalent, and put it into a document. I also have to think about how to make this document accessible for a screen reader and also for a Braille computer. So I have to think about how to build it, and I think it was pretty efficient because I learned Japanese Braille due to those documents. The second step of my project is to convert the information I found to build software, an accessible software who's able to transcript the Japanese symbol into Japanese Braille or into Romaji. So to do so, I learned how the Braille is encoded in Unicode, and also I learned how to use the Unicode data package to build my software. But to build it, I have to think about abstractly and how to make an open source software that could be easily edited by others. Java, I use it for the interface. It's not done yet because I wanted to give the priority on the functionalities. I will show you now a slight example of how the program works for now. It's still work in progress, but it's usable. So here's my example. I just have a file in which there is hiragana and you see some printed things in the command prompt, but the main thing is like those files, those result files. The first one, as you can see, is just the input is written and then the output in Romaji. And more interesting, the second one, the result2 document, is inputted in Japanese Braille. And this is not meant something for you, but for me, this file can be readable easily with my Braille computer, so it's really transcripted because I use the Unicode character encoding, so it's not depending of the interpretation of the Braille computer. It just print the Unicode symbol, so it's very easy and very adapted. So the last step of my project is disseminating the tools by contacting Braille to see if I can implement my tools in their Braille computer to be distributed like largely, and also distributed my software on GitHub. So I had a lot of networking to do that because I contact Braille and I have to communicate with society. It's not the same way as the communication from peer to peer, it's peer to society, so it's really different communication style. This step is the future of the project because it's not actually what I need to do, but I will continue this project after because I really enjoy this project and it brings me a lot of skills in communication, in networking, and but also in general in project management, project planning, and communication, knowing how to contact people who I need to contact. I contact master people from a student from my informatic duty to have advice on the software. I contact a lot of people, I brainstorm a lot, and this is very important, and I've really enjoyed making this project. So thank you for listening to me, thank you for watching my video, and now I'm just here to answer your question, so thanks a lot.